Hey, everybody. What's happening?
Back in the Foxxhole.
That's right. I got Bobby Glanton Smith here in the house.
Said it like she know me.
I do. Look, you right. You close to me, Bobby. Look, this is Darlene Ortiz of the 5150 Show, and we are actually waiting on Mr. Corey Holcomb. But look, we will have more of the debate a little later. Right now, we're getting ready to start the 5150 Show, and sorry, everybody, I am not going to do my loose talk tonight. We could always get that in. That's a given. That's going to happen. That's just every week. What's getting ready to happen, does not happen very often. I have a very special guest on the line via Brooklyn, New York is where she's calling from. And she's a good old friend of mine. I had met her a long time ago in the game and then lost contact with her, but not with her work. Everybody, we have on the line holding on, and I'm going to explain to you briefly who she is, and then hopefully she's going to have enough time to break down one of her most talked about works. I have Rebecca Scott, also known as Holly Hood, and she is the author of Hip Hop Illuminati. She's got 25 years in the hip hop game. Of course, she's a writer, and she's a cool-ass lady, boy, and she is definitely someone that you most definitely want in your social media network. So please, welcome Rebecca Scott, everybody, and she's going to break down as best she can everything to you, and hopefully, I know you're going to have some questions. So, welcome, Rebecca. What's up, girl? You on there?
Hi. Good.
There she is.
Hey. Girl, well, I guess you want me to give them a little history.
Please do.
I came into in like the well, let me go back to I came to the game actually before hip hop actually started. I was living in the Bronx, and Africa. A lot of people might know his story. He was the president of a gang called the Black Spades, and was, the president of the female sector of the Black Spades. And we used to do rapping over records out in the street on 3rd Avenue in the Bronx, 169th Street, Franklin, all of those areas. We would just do it as a hobby. No one ever knew that this, what we were doing as a hobby was going to become hip-hop. At any rate, as time on, people started to get deals. And an artist that wound up managing years later, KRS-One, he got a record deal, and he was from the Bronx. So we started seeing our friends getting record deals, and we tried to figure how we could get in where we fit in. So I put together this little girls group, and we went up against the Fat Boys at Tin Pan Apple. They were starting to look for talent, and the Fat Boys were not known yet. And this company called Tin Pan Apple had a concert at the Fever Skate Club, and me and my girls, we went up against the Fat Boys, and needless to say, we lost miserably because they are way talented, and we sucked. We were just cute. That was it. And that didn't work. Back then it didn't work. Today it works, but back then it didn't work. And so I still wanted to get in on this because I saw the potential, and everybody was starting to get put on. Russell had this little dingy office over on 17th Street, and he was starting to make noise with Curtis Blow and his brother, and I'm like, man, how can I get in? So I decided to get in on the management end, and my first group was Main Source, who had a rap ballad called Looking Out the Front Door, and they did so many other songs, too, watching Roger do his thing and that stuff. And then eventually I got to manage KRS-One, Mad Lion, Channel Live, and I just stayed in the game. I worked at EMI, Atlantic Records, did a whole bunch of stuff, and so that's pretty much my history in the game. I even worked with Tupac briefly when he was alive, and when he passed, I did the movie. I financed it and I produced it called Thug Immortal. So if you get a chance, the listeners, they can Google that, and they'll see my name in the credits on that. And I also financed the second House Party too. So, I was pretty big in the game. I was one of the biggest females in the game, moving and shaking and making noise. And that's how we got down back then.
Right. Now, a lot of people assume that they understand, or they think, anyway, that they have a good understanding of exactly what the Illuminati is all about. See, a lot of times, I think recently, too, a lot of people are equating it with just the hip-hop. They just think it's something that just new, that just popped up. They have no idea. Can you try to break it down in the most...
I can, and I will. Let me just say how I got to the whole thing with the Illuminati in terms of my personal experience. When I was working in hip-hop, by the 90s, the game was starting to change. And a lot of us who had independent companies, like myself, like Irv, like Russell, my friend who's currently in jail, Jimmy Henchman, a lot of us had independent companies, but we were from the streets. And during the time that hip-hop was making that big transition from what it started out, which was very positive and very uplifting, to the gangster rap and to rapping about money and cars and clothes, there was also people who were coming into the game who were not from the hood. They were not from our culture. And my experience, how I wound up writing Hip-Hop Illuminati, is I actually wrote it when I was in jail. I wound up getting into bed with some people who, I had $1 million office space over on 42nd Street. Myself and Mad Lion had a recording studio, but I ran into a woman named Patricia Durst, who was from the billionaire Durst family, who owned what was then at the time called the Durst Building. It's now called Number 4 Times Square. And she wanted to get into the mix, or she was either already in the mix, I don't know, but she wound up knowing who I was and contacted me and gave me $1 million office space to do my thing. And we wound up getting in bed together on some real wicked type stuff. And I can say this much. At the same time that John Forte from the Fugees got taken down for the drug bust, so did I. And a lot of us were doing things that we thought we left in the street in order to keep our businesses that we had established from scratch. So I had Great Scott Management, which was my management company that I had KRS-One and Lion and Channel Live and all of them under. Plus I was doing, like I said, I was doing movies and stuff. And here come these people who put something on the table, and it was like, you do or you die. And I could see that people were dropping all around me. This was during the time when they have the hip-hop police were out there, and people were just getting snatched up on any kind of thing. And so I did it. But what happened is when I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore, I wound up doing 10 years for drug trafficking. And during that time, I decided, you know what, I'm going to blow this whole shit up because I got caught out there. A lot of my people got caught out there. People don't know. Even the whole thing with BMF, there's a whole lot more to that as well. There's a lot of stuff I cannot say. But in my books, I say what I can say. And what I can say is that dirty people came into the game who weren't even connected to hip-hop, but they had the money to change the game. And it was all part of an agenda of the wealthy whites. What they feared is that for the first time in history, we, young black people, had something that was making people millionaires overnight. And the one thing the money people are afraid of is you getting too close to their money. And so if they cannot control the money and losing control of it, that's the whole meaning and purpose behind the whole formation of the Illuminati from the get-go. It was started by 17 wealthy families. It started with 13. It eventually went up to 17. And that includes the Disneys and a whole bunch of others. And the thing about it is that it was all about money, and it still is. It's about money and control. So its infiltration into hip-hop is relatively new, but they've always been in entertainment. The Illuminati has had their hands in, way back when Beethoven was making music. There were Freemasons. As a matter of fact, he was one. His teacher was one. Amadeus Mozart. He was also a lodge brother. And, you know, it went on. It eventually got into rock. And so these people have always had their hands in things that had the ability to control the people. And they only became interested in hip-hop when it began making money. So my book, Hip-Hop Illuminati, which is one of 8 books that I've written, but they're all of my books deal in some form with either hip-hop or the New World Order, because it's very serious. This is something that's real right now, that's happening. And so I break it down as much as I can without setting myself up. One of the reasons I remain in the hood and stay in the cut is because I am a target. And, you know, anyone who's been to jail knows that even when you come home, they still keep tabs on you. They see what you're doing, and you have to kind of, you know, keep a low profile. So what I'm doing is very serious. I'm waking people up, and I do have things that I need to be concerned about. So so that's what I write my books to enlighten people, and in my hope that they will read it, even if they wait until after I'm gone to read it. At least the books are out there. So that's one thing they can't take back from me. The books are there.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
You, girl, wait. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Like, there's just so much more. I mean, and I appreciate you, like, breaking it down in the most layman terms, because we're going to take a break, but I know that there's so much. I know, because I know your background, and I just want all the callers to get as much as they can in case they have questions. I know they do, but we're going to take a break, but I'm going to give the call-in number in case you would like to either speak to Rebecca or ask anything. The number to call in here is 855-369-9898, and you can also Twitter at Foxxhole with 2 X's. Rebecca, please stay on the line with us, and also later on in the hour, I would love for you to promote the rest of your books because they are awesome, and your blogs and everything. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is Darlene Ortiz, 5150 Show. I got with me still Bobby.
Bobby Glanton Smith.
Bobby's back in the house today. And we are still waiting on Mr. Corey Holcomb. I apologize, everybody, but for some reason, these Chi-Town folks, when they get here to L.A., they just, oh, I forgot, Guy Black is from Chicago, too. Hey, they really assume they know how to work their way around L.A. traffic. Don't play. This thing is a mess. Anyway, Rebecca, you still there, girl? Is she
Rebecca.
There? She there?
Rebecca.
Hello?
There you go, mommy. All right, look, we're gonna take one of our first callers, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. Can I just throw in 2 things before we take the call?
Of course, go ahead.
Things, and I'll be real
Sure.
quick. My first break was actually given by the great Harry Belafonte. Hip-hop was making so much noise in the Bronx. Harry Belafonte came all the way from Hollywood to produce one of the first hip-hop movies, and he recruited all the talent from the Bronx. And it was called Beat Street. And so I just want to say that. That was my first break.
I remember that movie.
And
that's
then
one
the
of my
other thing
favorite movies.
Huh?
No, I'm still in awe. Like Harry Belafonte. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Where did that come? Wow.
Yeah, he produced the first hip-hop movie because that's how people realized that we had something hot, and it made it all the way to California. And he came over here to New York, and there were lines, because all of us, that's all we used to do was rap and dance in the streets. And I guess, you know, he got wind of it, and he decided, hey, this will make some money. Yes, so that was my first
Harry
break.
Belafonte.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then the other thing I wanted to say, and I want to get into it a little more, but I'll do it after the call, is that I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. And I'm really honored because some things I turned down, but one of the reasons that I accepted this, aside from just being a big fan of Jamie, but I became more of a fan when I heard his hip-hop interview on Foxxhole from like a year ago, where he was actually talking about the influence of the music on the youth. And he doesn't even know how close to home he hit with that interview. So I'll get more into that later. But
nice. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I wonder if we have the date of that one. Oh well, you're so welcome. And thank you,
send you
girl.
the link. Yeah, I can send you
beautiful. Do that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for even enlightening us. You coming on here as a guest. This is we are. We feel very privileged.
Girl. I mean, come on.
Hey.
Come on. You know.
Thanks for that. Hey, now, that's what I'm talking about. Look, we're going to take this first call, Rebecca, from Soul Wonder, and he or she is from Dallas. Go ahead, Soul Wonder.
Hey, y'all, how's everybody doing?
Hey, thank you for calling.
Hey.
What's up, OG Bobby Johnson? What's up,
Hey, hold up, man, hold up. It's Bobby Glanton, brother.
I know it's Bobby Glanton Smith, but you know.
All right, I'm just checking in.
Much respect
all
for
right.
you, and guess what? All we need is 15 minutes. I'm right there with you. Darlene, how you doing? Corey, always late as hell.
Yeah, you'll be here in a minute.
Rebecca, how you doing? I'm sitting up there as I'm listening to you talk about the Illuminati stuff. I'm just, Googling and stuff. Like, you've done some amazing stuff. You've been a part of some stuff. And I'm a producer, been doing it a music producer, doing it about 7 8 years now. I'm not amazing, and it's just my dream. But I'm hip-hop all the way down to the core. I goes back all the way to the 80s and all that stuff in the Bronx. I know all about that stuff. So I'm right there with you. Hip hop is probably the single most influential thing in this entire world, in this whole world. It's everywhere. It has become real big, real big. So you was the part that I like to say thank you personally for that.
Thank you.
As far as the Illuminati stuff, I've heard a lot of stuff, a lot of different stories that has been associated. I've been kind of fascinated with myself. So, like, I remember there was a story from this guy from BET that helped start Rap City. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was from D.C., I believe, and how he talks about how they changed, how things started changing with the music game, and, the music started changing, and he was involved in it. It kind of brought him into a scene to where there was some important people and made him want to do lewd things that he really couldn't speak about. He was saying that was Illuminati. The death of Shakir Stewart, stuff like that. What is your take on that stuff like that? You know anything about that?
I do, actually. I want to say, first of all, thank you for your compliments. But the actual hip hop genre was started by Africa and Kool Herc. So I got to put that out here because those are
I know that. I know all that.
And we just kept it going. But in terms of okay. Ooh, you put a lot out there, so let me see where I can begin. Okay, earlier, I don't know if you heard me talking about how the classical musicians were affiliated with the Illuminati. These people, all throughout history, they keep their thing going. Even though they die off, it's like they don't die, they multiply. So one of the things that was written, it was, I believe, The Magic Flute, which was written by Mozart. Do you know that Disney, who is one of the Illuminati families, they actually reincarnated that? So it's all connected in terms of the Hollywood connection and the things that happen. Now, BET, which you mentioned, do you know who owns BET now? Viacom, which is headed by multi-billionaire Sumner Redstone. So people, when I do my books, I try to get people to put the things together to line up the dominoes so they can see how everything is falling. Because now you have to think to yourself, why would this old, very, very wealthy, he's already got billions of bucks, why would he want to control a black entertainment television?
It goes back to what I just said.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the connection with Shakir, one of my books is actually called Violator for Life, and it's a book written about my good friend who passed away, Chris Lighty. Chris Lighty, story, which a lot of people say are very similar to the Shakir Stewart story. I did not know Shakir, and one of the things you'll see in my books is that I try to refrain from talking about things that I don't know. So I only get into what I do know. And there was a lot about Chris and about things that were going on with him for years and different things that were actually engineered from behind the scenes. Even some of these beefs are engineered by different people. And so I put it out there, and I couldn't make the comparison other than the fact that they were both supposedly killed themselves, and they were both very influential. But I get deep in terms of what I knew about Chris. Unfortunately, I didn't know the other brother, so I didn't do a book about him, and I didn't include him in Chris's book. But I wouldn't be surprised if, and in my book, I reveal what I think really happened, and Chris did not kill himself. I knew this brother. He did not shoot himself. So my thoughts are...
Nope. Go ahead, Rebecca, but I know that we got to take a couple more callers and put them in there, though, but go ahead and if you could finish.
Did I answer your brother?
Say again?
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I had one more question. You had mentioned Jimmy Henchman. Now, stories have been coming out lately that he was supposedly the brother that helped start this East Coast, West Coast beef with Pac and Biggie with the shooting at the Hit Factory. Is there any truth to that, or is that a fabrication?
Well, I'm going to say this. It's amazing how, as time goes by, people forget Diddy's part in things. It's amazing how the characters are switched as time goes on. So I'm going to leave it at that.
And I have a theory about that, too, but I guess we don't have time. But I'm glad you said it because nobody mentions his part, man.
That's right. And you know what, So Wonder? Yes, she does. And you know what, So Wonder? There's so much on her website and her blogs, and so you'll have to, go on there and find a lot of stuff out too. There it is.
I'm already on it.
Thank
you so much, and thank you for the call, So Wonder.
All right, y'all later.
Thank you. All right, Rebecca, we're going to take the next one. Hey, Dino from Chicago. You're on the line with Darlene, Rebecca, and Bobby. What's happening?
What's good with y'all, man?
Hey.
First of all, I just want to say, not to be rude, how you doing, Darlene, Bobby, what's good? And Miss Lady, I know Corey just losing his fucking mind. Wherever he is, if he listening to the
He's coming through the door right now, man.
That's funny that you speak about that, Dino, because he's actually...
Well, Corey gonna understand, man, because for the simple fact, she's just not... When you do answer their questions, you taking a long time to answer them. You talking about 50 other things before you get to your point that don't got anything to do with the point. You giving your history. I understand you want to.
Well, we had to give her history out so everybody knew exactly who was on the line. So sorry about that, but no, the next callers we're going to go ahead. We are going to mention that we're going to have to keep the question short for the next callers. So we are going to get to that. So sorry about that, Dino. But did you have a question?
Illuminati with hip hop. That's all I'm saying.
What happened? I didn't catch the beginning of that.
I'm saying I thought the point of the show was the Illuminati, but specifically in hip-hop when it got to do with these little kids wearing tight
It is,
things.
if you want to ask a question, but that was the background of it, because Illuminati just doesn't exist just with hip-hop. She gave you the beginning of the background. What do you want to know about it?
I don't want to know any. I understand it. I thought that's what she was supposed to talk about, but she was giving more of a history lesson than talking about what it got to do with today, with the society and what's going on.
With all due respect, brother, with all due respect, I was asked to give my history. That's why I did. I mind to get into the book, but I was asked to give my history. And not only that, your resume is what gives you your credibility. I can't just jump on a show and people who may not know of me and say, oh, I'm talking about this, this, and this, and they don't know my resume. How would I know this and this if I hadn't been in it? So I'm sorry if I took up too much of your time, but you're taking quite a bit of time to get to your questions. So what is it?
You got one, Dino, or no?
Explaining pretty much who you are instead of what we really got to talk about that serious.
Yeah, he didn't get it. It's okay. You don't understand. She just explained why she spoke about. I asked her to give a background. Yeah, thanks for calling in, Dino. Sorry about that, Rebecca.
No problem. He's right. I do talk a lot.
No, but better understanding. We had to understand. I asked her to give her
background.
Yeah,
I try to break it down because I don't know who may not know where I'm going or where I'm coming from with my information. So I try to break it down.
And you did. Thank you for that. Rebecca, Mr. Corey Holcomb just walked in on the line, so he's here with us.
Yeah, I'm the
okay.
Late nigga. The Illuminati made me late.
You know what? There we go.
They conspired to make sure the freeway was too packed for me to get here on time. It's some bullshit.
Okay.
Now, but I walked in on the last thing. A lot of people who don't understand what may be going on, I think it's a natural reaction to act like something wrong with everybody else. You see what I'm saying? So I already could tell that's what was happening, on the phone. It's like a deep subject, this Illuminati thing. A lot of people hear about it because somebody said something about it, but they never really read up on exactly what it is.
Loosely, right? They don't understand.
So a lot of people may be calling in because they're lost. They're trying to figure out what's going on. I would say to people out there who don't know what Illuminati is, if you have a smartphone, you can just put the word Illuminati in. I want to make sure I spell it right.
Is that what they should do, Rebecca? What do you suggest?
They should definitely, but if they want to know what it has to do in terms of hip-hop, you have to be careful because there are a lot of false teachers out there, too. So you've got a lot of people who put up blogs and sites and they have no clue. They're just rehashing information and they're making up stuff. My information is based on me dealing with these people directly. So that's the difference.
Right.
So if they want to know about
a lot of people get their information. A lot of people get their information from hearsay and whatever. They actually don't read and figure out what's going on with whatever is going on with anything in life. Most information in this world is given through he say, she say.
Yeah. We used to call it the Negro News. Actually, I have a blog called Negro News, and that's pretty much what it. Yeah, that's pretty much what it sums up.
That's my language right there. Right. That's my era.
Bobby like that.
Woke me up with that.
Right, the Negro News.
Yeah, I specialize in
Believe
that.
me, if you check out most of her blogs, Bobby, you'd be so intrigued. I'm telling you right now.
Let me ask. I want to ask her a question. Do you think there's a lot of religion that has been passed down Negro News wise?
Religion passed down. I think we are brought up into our religions for the most part. We practice what our family practices. And so if you come from a family of Catholics, that's what you grow up praying to. But I think there's a lot of misconception in religion, and obviously everybody who says that they are of the faith don't always walk it. There are a lot of talkers, but there are not a lot of walkers. So I don't know if I answered your...
No, you answered the question perfectly. I try to explain to a lot of my Christian friends that they go to church because they were taught to go to church. Most people who've been going to church 20, 30 years have never read that Bible. They're just going along with what they were. It's almost like the end thing to do. It's a club.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not just the Christians, because look at what we just had. We just had Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jews' biggest holiday, and they don't eat, they don't touch money, and they use that one day out of the year to ask God to forgive them for all the robbing and stealing and lying that they've done the rest of the year. And then once that day is over, they're back to hustling and lying and thieving and doing everything else they've done. And so, you've got your Sunday morning Christians. They get up. They come to church on Sunday, but they were fornicating Saturday night. They were up in the club, and whatever else they do. And so,
I explain to people all the time, I get more pussy at church than anywhere else in America.
What? Oh my God.
This is the truth. I don't even like going to nightclubs. That's a waste of money. I mean, that's real stuff. You get a lot of women with weak faith at church. I guess that's why they're at church, to work on their faith.
Well, shame on you for preying on women who need the Lord.
Lord.
Yeah. What's that Jewish holiday she said? I need to have about 8 of them a year.
Corey can have a Rosh Hashanah
right.
A couple of times.
I need Rosh Hashanah once a week.
And you take advantage of those poor lost souls who are trying to give up their whoring ways, and you take advantage of them. That's like taking advantage of Jezebel when she came to Jesus, and here are men in the streets throwing money at her, and it's hard to come. Do
I get credit for this, Rebecca? I always go after the veteran church women, the girls who've been there for years, who should know better than to be fucking with people like me.
You're a hot mess.
They faith is weak, Rebecca.
Yeah, obviously.
He is terrible.
Obviously.
As you see, he is terrible, Rebecca. Don't worry. We prayed for him.
And I saw his picture on Facebook. He's handsome, just like Satan. So I can see him.
He handsome.
I like that. I like that. She said handsome like Satan.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Satan was handsome.
Angel. So I could see you show that beautiful face up, and then all these women, they get weak. And I can imagine the harm.
I love it.
Is her last name Galata? Rebecca Galata? Because she hitting lower than motherfucker.
Okay. She's smart. When you talking to people who are intelligent, which is really funny, I want to say this before we take this caller. When you're talking to intelligent people, they can insult you without you even knowing.
Right, Rebecca? That's called boom, boom, boom. Get it. Well, look, Rebecca, we're going to take another caller.
When I talk to girls with low vocabulary, I say, oh, you look very obstreperous today. They be like, oh, thank you.
You know what?
What? It happens a lot.
Goodness, Rebecca. Look, we're going to talk to Richard from Texas. Richard, go ahead. Are you on there?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Are you hearing me pretty good because I'm driving?
Sure, there you go. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I want to thank the young lady for having the courage to step out. I want to thank you guys for having the courage to have her on, because a lot of the hip-hop community knows about this. A lot of the professional athletes, a lot of everybody who's making a lot of money knows about the Illuminati, and they're scared to talk about it because they don't want to lose their careers or their life. So I want to thank the young lady for having that kind of courage, because these people are extremely dangerous. And I know that for a fact because one of the leaders of the movement to expose the Illuminati is a guy named Alex Jones up in Austin, Texas. And I think Miss Rebecca, I didn't catch her last name, she ought to work hard on getting on his show because she can sell a lot of books and get a whole lot of exposure, and he'll be glad to have her on because he's always looking for black folks who are willing to come out and help expose the Illuminati, like people like Dick Gregory, people like Cynthia McKinney. They've all been on his show. And he will give you plenty of time to expose what you know because you've been right there in the thick of things. So I just want to thank you for your service, because this is indeed a service, too, because these people have killed entire generations just with their sick philosophies. So yes. I don't know if you can still hear me, but
I can.
I get kind of long-winded because I'm driving and I'm by myself. So
go ahead, Rebecca. You want to say anything to that caller?
Yes, I actually do. For starters, my name is Rebecca Scott, and that's my full name. And you can actually reach me, and you can have your associate reach me via my blog, which is hiphopilluminati.blogspot.com. And I'm also on Amazon.com, author page, Rebecca Scott. And I just want to say something in terms of what you were speaking on. Yes, thank you. I am fearless, but I do have to use caution because this thing is bigger than hip-hop. Hip-hop is just one small part of it. And the whole idea of it, when I mentioned Jamie Foxx's interview that he did on Foxxhole a year ago regarding hip-hop, and he said it controls the mind. Well, this is one of the purposes of the Illuminati infiltrating hip-hop, is to control the mind. It's a form of mind control. And I just want to give you just a brief background because I know I talk a little bit too much, so I'm going to try to give you the short version.
Rebecca, okay, good, because we're going to take a break in a little bit. Do you want to wait and do that right afterwards, so this way we don't cut you off?
Can I ask that question?
Well, we're going to take. We got to take a break right now.
You tell me, Dee. Whatever you say.
Could you? But caller, thank you so much for calling in, and she's going to finish that up when we return, if that's okay, because we got to take this break.
Yes, of course it is. Yeah, get that money.
So just okay, hold on to that thought, Rebecca, please. And Richard, thank you so much for calling in. And yes, we are very grateful that she's on here with us today. And we'll be right back, everybody. Hold on.
Machiavellian is Illuminati all through your body. The blows like a 12-gauge shot at and God said he should send his one begotten son to lead the wild into the ways of the man.
All right, we're back.
Follow me.
5150 show. Number to call in is 855-369-9898. We talking to Rebecca. She put it out there on them motherfucking bullshit ass people. Rebecca, I know you're not used to people talking like this. I'm just trying to relate to the people who don't read.
Oh, baby, you forget I'm from the hood. So I am, and I still live in the hood. It's just, you know,
that's what's up.
You can't.
Her AKA is Hollywood.
Her AKA is Hollywood.
Yes. My Twitter is real Hollywood, and I keep it 100. So I don't judge people because the walk that I take is a walk that I chose to take. But I was a hellraiser for most of my years, so no, do you, baby? It's cool.
What?
She did a dime, Corey.
Darlene keep whispering.
No, because he missed all the stuff. He missed all the introduction on your background, like how that guy.
She did 10.
How he couldn't understand it. You know what I'm saying, Rebecca? And you broke it down like that's. There's a reason why. See, so people understand your background. And like
so you gave them people 10 years.
They took 10.
Oh, I had to. And actually, I was supposed to get life, but under the Rockefeller, because I went down under what they call RICO, which was Racketeer Influenced Corrupt Organization.
You had some Mark Barker in you, didn't you?
No, I actually did what I had to do to stay in the game, and then I got caught out there by the very people that I trusted. And the way they screwed me is the same way they screwed John Forte and everybody else who was on the payroll during that time. They get you to transport their drugs, and then everything's good. and then the minute you do something that they don't like, you're out of the game. And and like I was saying, even with BMF, there was a lot more behind that than people know. You don't get in that position and get in that type of money bracket without the powers that be.
Hey, may I ask a quick question?
For lack of a better word.
That's so basically what you're saying. All that stuff is allowed, right?
It's not a lie, but there are people behind the scenes that unless you're in it, you won't even know. And when it goes
I said
down,
allowed.
You don't know. Oh, yes, allowed. Oh, yeah, the feds. Are you kidding? The feds is the Illuminati police.
Right. See, that's what's up. A lot of people don't understand. Is Barack Obama being in office allowed?
I will tell you this. America is deluded. Every 4 years, we go through this ritual of casting votes, and what the people don't realize is that we don't put anyone in office. The person who's going to be president has already been decided. So that ritual that you do going down to voting, that's all it is. It's just a 4-year ritual that people do, like going to church on Sunday. They do it every 4 years. It makes no difference. They have already decided who's going to be in office.
This is my first time. I want everybody out there listening. This is my first time talking to Rebecca, and I say that because I tell people who tell me that something is wrong with me for not going down there to vote that you're the fucking idiots, but they don't believe me. They think something is wrong with me as they fucking break their neck to get everybody else to go down there and do something that's absolutely meaningless.
You know what it does? What the meaning of it is? It's an opinion poll. That's all it is. It just shows the government which way the people are leaning. But the government, we haven't been we the people in quite some time. So if you think your government cares about you, they don't. I have almost 75 videos on YouTube, and a good portion of them, almost half of them, talk about what the government really is.
Yeah, the government is the exterminators.
Yeah, even down to the money, even down to, I mean, it gets so deep. But I wanted to just throw this out there because I'm on Jamie's show, and I just wanted to say, he mentioned something in 2011 on a Foxxhole interview about the hip-hop and how it controls the youth in terms of the mind control. And I don't even know if he knew how close he was to the truth, because there was a German physician, and Dee, you saw my video, so you know where I'm going with this. Franz Anton Mesmer was a German physician in the 1700s, and this bit of history is very important because he did his dissertation on the effects, on something he called magnétisme animal, which is, in English, animal magnetism. And his dissertation, he had an experiment where he put subjects in a dim room with music, with lights flashing, and fed them subjective thoughts. Now, what do you find when you go into the club? There's dimness with lights flashing and music playing. Mesmer, his name, is actually where we get the word mesmerize. He found in his studies that the subjects were receptive to whatever they were fed in that environment. So people who say, "Oh, listening to music doesn't affect me," even myself, I cannot tell you. When I was Yo-Yo and I started way back in the day an organization called the Intelligent Black Women's Coalition, which is a joke because both of us were dumb and stupid back then. But the point is that I was hanging out, and when NWA came out with "F the Police," and I was in the car with a brother who was with this group of something hieroglyphics, and the song came on, and I saw him transform. He went from this nice guy that we had just went on a date to this violent, banging on the steering wheel, ready to go F up some police. So people don't realize that the thing with the music, it's all part of a control. The one you see, there's no more money for music in schools. They took religion out of schools, which is the worst thing they could have ever done. But they have the money for jail. And now what do they have? They have prisons. Everything is being set up to re-enslave us. That's the bottom line. And people need to wake the hell up.
I agree 100% because they have a station called BET, And
she spoke about that earlier too, actually.
One thing I've noticed about BET is they play music where they allow you to dance and brag, but they do not play any rap music that will enlighten black people. And there's a lot of rappers who used to make songs with information in there. You can't get any play on BET with music like that. All you can do is play stupid Lil Wayne shit. That, yo, I got an outfit, and it's a purple one.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, Rebecca, go ahead.
Oh, no, but I wanted to hear the last part of what he said.
No, I was just saying, like, a lot of the songs that they play on BET are absolutely meaningless, where back in the day, artists would make songs with information in the raps. But they don't allow you to give information on BET. If your song is informative, especially informative in a way that can help your culture, it can't get any radio play, and it won't get played on BET.
Now, let me just enlighten you a little bit on BET in terms of their background. People don't even realize that the founder, Bob Johnson, was Hillary Clinton's puppet for years, many, many years. Any agenda that she promoted, he promoted on BET. When he finally sold out, he had sold out as a person long before, but when he finally sold BET to Sumner Redstone, that is when the Illuminati front, whose sole purpose is to dilute the minds of African Americans with perverse ideals and to enslave the youth with violent, ignorant programming. And this is when things like The Wire and all these other shows, everything is a reality show now, except they're not reality. But they're pushing it as reality. And anything that is positive or uplifting is shelved because they can't do this now that they're under the domination of the Illuminati, which is Sumner Redstone, a billionaire white old man who picked up this black entertainment television solely to use it in their overall plan of world domination. See,
what is his name again? Redstone?
She's leaving out somebody really important.
Sumner Redstone.
You're leaving out John Malone. That was his mentor.
Excuse me?
You're leaving out a very important person in this equation, and that was John Malone, who was a cable network giant, and he mentored Bob Johnson, and that's what he sold the network to John Malone, and him and Sumner Redstone run in the same circles.
Yes, but Sumner Redstone is actually the owner, the exclusive and sole owner of Viacom, who owns BET.
It's a big difference.
So it's I'm talking at that level in terms of who owns the actual parent that owns BET. Viacom owns a lot of things. BET
right, you're speaking factual.
Yeah, they just are one of their acquisitions. But the reason I left out Malone, and this I had said earlier too, is because I only speak on what I know. So I didn't know of Malone, and I didn't have any
Some people can understand that people who are speaking from factual information rather than, somebody ran with somebody. I mean, if you run with somebody, that's where's the facts in that? That's what I was trying to explain to my friend Bobby right here. But what's that dude name you said? Redstone.
Yes. Sumner Redstone is the owner. He is the CEO of Viacom, which is a parent that owns several entities, and BET is just one of them.
Right.
So that's the parent. Yeah. And Sumner Redstone, you also he has quite a few companies and things. You know, a lot of these people are in bed with a lot of other people. So I don't know who Malone is, but I wouldn't doubt that he's part of that and that he would be Illuminati. But when you look at a lot of these labels and Interscope and Jimmy Iovine and a lot of these hip hop labels have Illuminati at that level. The artists can't be they can be used, but the owners and the people who are ahead of them, these people are all in bed with these people who are taking over the world. They have private clubs that they go to. I've been to clubs where there was all types of, I don't know if you ever saw that movie Eyes Wide Shut, where they had all this kind of these sexual clubs that you could go to, and there was everybody screwing everybody, and these are wealthy people that come there to do their dirt. And in some cases, they're even discussing business there, and they bring in their choice few house niggers, people that they want to use, and they're probably in bed with
Barack Obama. Go ahead.
Money. Yes. In my book, I actually have a picture of Barack at a fraternity social. I don't know if it was a party or a dinner or what, but someone was able to take a picture of him there sitting, and it was a boule event, and which is also what Tuffy is part of.
Like, I don't know that. Like I never knew that information from you, but I'm telling you, I have the sense to know that if you're a black man trying to run for president of the United States, something is fucking wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? You're trying to be part of something that has done nothing but tortured you and basically made a fool out of you ever since they brought you here.
Well, it goes deeper. With the president, it goes deeper, and I have to be a little careful. If you go into his history, you will see that he's been on the side of the government for quite a while. This is not way long before he was in office. There's already quite a few very wealthy people, and when he worked at one of these law firms, I'm trying to remember which one it was, and one of his clients was a slumlord. Okay, it was Davis over in Washington. That was the law firm he worked at, and one of the clients was slumlord.
We're breaking out. Hold on, Rebecca. Is that her? Hold on, Rebecca.
I don't know. It's breaking up. We're missing some of the stuff you're saying.
It keeps getting a little choppy. I don't know if that's her line.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on one second.
We can hear you. Oh, we got to get some of these callers in. Rebecca, I hate to break you in thought because I know that you're speaking from what you know.
She got a lot too.
And speaking from what you know, you know what I'm saying? I love to hear that when people have information that is factual, that they're telling you. She says she has a picture of this. I love to hear stuff like that. But we got to get some of these callers in and let them have their opinion because they keep our show going.
But can I just finish that thought though real quick in terms of Obama? In 95, he worked for that law firm, Milner Davis, and they represented Tony Rezko, who was a slumlord who he got off. He got off with no jail time after he was convicted of stealing over $14 million, and he had a fundraiser for Obama's senatorial campaign way back then in 2000, after he got off in 1995, and he started contributing from then to 2003 to President Obama's then senatorial campaign. So that just shows you how far back his history goes with being in bed with these people. And
he got some muscle with the beast.
Yes, sleeping with the enemy.
Yeah.
There you go. But we're going to take this caller. We got Victor from Memphis, Rebecca. So go ahead, Victor.
Thanks for holding on, Victor. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello. Miss Rebecca, Darlene, Brother Bobby, and most important of all, Brother Corey. Look, I want to start off with a short little brief comment. It was a show Luke Dix was on one day, and this guy, a caller, called in mad, like, Luke Dix, I don't know what women did to you to make you so mad. And then he like, Corey, I don't know what woman bent you over and went up in you. And Corey, with no hesitation, you laughed and just said, I got to take the good with the bad. And at that time, I was like, Denzel Washington. I was like, my nigga. But to my point, the first thing I got to ask Miss Rebecca is like, all these people, Jay-Z, Jamie Foxx, everybody with money, why can't everybody put a little money in the pot and open up their own record label so you can get some positive rappers in there? No vulgar rap. If you vulgar rap, stay where you at. If you got positive rap, come on over here and put that shit out. Production, distribution, whatever needs to be done. And the other thing.
Why couldn't they do that, Rebecca? Why don't you think something like that could be done?
Because that's how it was in the beginning. When hip hop first started, you had my girl Sylvia Restadedge. She had Sugar Hill. Her and Mickey. They had their label. They put out their guys. And what happened is, and there were so many others, independents, like I said, there was other independent labels. There was, I can't remember the guy from Texas. But my point is that as the money came into the game, people started selling out. You know, this is the one thing about when you deal with people, if you've got a few grand in the bank, and
Ms.
someone
Rebecca,
offers you a few million.
Let me interrupt you. I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. This is what I'm saying. Open it up like a private business. Get somebody, so where if somebody comes and say, hey, I want to donate some money to you, fuck you, I don't need you to donate nothing to me. This private, we doing it on our own. I don't care if you got to go.
But once you're already, that was the point I was getting to. Once you're already on the payroll, you can't just ease out like that. That's what happened to me. I tried to jump off the boat. It's like you're already on there. You can't, you know, it's like the mafia. Once you're in, Jay is in bed with these people. He's not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize what he has now.
I got you. Okay, go through somebody like Farrakhan, like you said, Harry Belafonte. Go back to him. Somebody that ain't tied into it, and the proof is in the pudding, putting out this positive rep. Okay, but I'm going to keep it moving because my time is short. And I saw Bill Maher, and he was talking about back when people like Dr. King was alive, about civil rights, Jesse Jackson, all of them. I'm just using certain names. The momentum we had going back then, when those people died off, got killed, or whatever the case may be, the new thing was this trumped up drug charges. Motherfucker get caught with a half ounce of weed or something, lock them up for 30 years. And that in the process, it gives them a felony. He can't work, and it perpetuates the vicious cycle. And like, say a dynamic personality such as Corey Holcomb. All right, you got Jesse the Body, Governor Jesse the Body. I listened to him on Mark Thompson's show, Make It Plain 127, I think. Well, he was on there. He was like, I was just an average guy. I ran for governor, and he said, like, say, for example, he goes to the grocery store. He said he see a guy with a fishing hat on, another guy with a truck driving hat, and they come shake his hand, and then they tell him, I got this hat on, but I'm CIA, and this other guy over here, FBI, this other guy, Secret Service. They talked to him to find out how did he be an average guy with a well-known personality of being a wrestler. How did you come from wrestling to be a governor? He said basically what they did was sat down, saw how he did it, so another regular motherfucker could not be in that scenario again. I'm saying all that with this Illuminati stuff. They setting it up so can't no regular motherfucker such as me get in there and shed light on the subject. They
also use people based on their influence. This is why you have certain artists who may be more talented than others, but they don't get to the top of the game because they're not influential. They use people who are influential. That's how Schwarzenegger got to be governor. That's how even
we can use him to push our bullshit. I got you.
Exactly. There you go.
Foremost, I got one. The guy that called before me, a couple calls back from Texas, your show, like, Corey, y'all come raw with the comedy and stuff, but this shit be straight raw truth. Bobby, Darlene, you be eating kicking knowledge. I don't know where you got it from. I'm just messing with you. I know Corey's gonna say colors. But it's one more thing. The collapse of the American dream. It's a cartoon, and it shows you even way back when Jefferson Thomas, they were saying, we can't do this and that because you let big banks or big organizations get too powerful and they will control America. And they shot it down all through the Civil War and shit like that. And the first president that went against it publicly was Kennedy, and they killed his motherfucking ass. But, Darlene, I sent it to you on Facebook, so when y'all take a break, y'all can check it out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Take it for what it is, but that's all I want.
Well, that was great.
I love you cats, and Miss Rebecca, look, check this out. I got a high school diploma and shit, but you ain't got no audio book on, because once I read 2-3 pages, I'm gonna lose interest and be like, man, fuck this shit.
I am working on it, but you know what you can do is you can go to my Hollywood YouTube. And I have most of my information. I've got almost 75 videos that I've created.
Yes, she does.
That are very entertaining, and I guarantee you won't fall asleep.
There you go.
That's what's up.
Yeah, thanks for that, Victor.
Thanks for the call, man. We appreciate that.
We had a lot of them on hold too, Rebecca. There's a lot of people that want to get to
I know they're itching to get their word in.
We got Candy from North Carolina. Go ahead, Candy.
Kenny.
Oh, Kenny. I'm sorry, Kenny. And try to make it as brief as you can so we can fit everybody in. Thank you. Oh, Greg. I'm sorry. Greg from Mississippi. Go ahead, Greg.
With the cans up that way.
What you say, man? You came in late. We sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just speaking to everybody up there on the radio. You know, nice listening to you, and there's really a lot of information and stuff on there that I'm kind of putting my mind into it. I want to know a lot about this. And my thing is to you, Rebecca. I mean, do Freemasonry what do Freemasonry really have to do with the Illuminati? I've been hearing that a whole lot.
Okay. I'll give you the short version. The actual term Illuminati means illuminated in terms of light and so for secrecy. So any secret society, and especially in my book, one of the first things that I say is that when I use the word Illuminati, I'm referring to all secret societies. So any organization that has like Skull and Bones and all these fraternities and things that do their things in secret and they don't allow the public to know what they're doing and you can't just walk in, that's what I'm referring to. Now, when I talk about the Freemasons and I break down each society, their history and everything, I'm not talking about all Freemasons because I frankly believe that the lower level Freemasons, the ones who are not up there in the third degree and those higher degrees, they won't know what their higher ups are doing. So you've got Masons who, like the Shriners Hospital, where they do wonderful work for children and things like that. It's just like in the church. You've got people who are real Christians and serious about their walk and they're doing things and they're trying to get people to God. And then you've got other people that are at the top, these mega churches where they're all about the dollar bill. So I don't paint everyone with the same brush. I just talk about the ones who are up at the top where they have all these blood-curdling rituals in order for you to be a part of what they're doing, and everything that they're doing represents something evil, and it represents power and control over people. And so that's the distinction.
Brings up Lucifer.
Oh, yes. Well, even the man who started Masonry, he says in his Albert Pike, he had a book, Morals and Dogma, and it broke down Freemasonry. And what people don't even realize is that Albert Pike was also the same person that started the Ku Klux Klan. So I still to this day...
That's why I was about to ask you, what do you think about Black Masons? I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. And this is why when the Masons first started, the black people had to go to Prince Hall. Prince Hall was he had to start his own faction of Masons because they weren't welcome, just like a lot of other white societies that didn't welcome blacks until they saw a potential to get money. The Mormons also. So for a long time, Mormons were very racist. Now you've got black Mormons. Go figure.
Look, we would love...
Pike says in his book that they worship Lucifer, that their supreme God is the one and only Lucifer. He said that in
the one you said that I guess
the one that you said Corey looked like.
Oh, exactly. Well, it says in the Bible that Lucifer was very handsome, and when I went to Corey's Facebook to let him know I was going to be his guest and that I was anxious, and I saw this handsome face, and then he tells me he's in the church recruiting whores who are trying to change their ways. I said, oh, well, there you go.
Please. No, they was at church just hanging out. That's all they was doing. I don't go for the good. Whenever somebody got a good heart, I get the fuck away from them. I feel like something bad going on.
Oh, my God. Look, Rebecca, I know, isn't he stupid? Isn't he something?
Good people, I'll be like, I can't fuck you up.
I'm going to pray for Corey.
There you go. Thank you, Rebecca. But look, we're going to try and get some more in. Thank you so much, caller, for that.
I'll bite my tongue off over here. I got something to say about so much shit, but go ahead.
But look, we have another caller from Texas.
I want people to get information.
We get callers from Texas, Rebecca.
We got Zoe here. We're going to get him on in a minute.
We got Rashad from Texas. Please, Rashad, go ahead.
Hey, what's good, y'all? What's good, Corey, Darlene, Bobby, and Miss Rebecca?
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, Hey, I'm just calling in because, this shit gets real deep. You know, I'm a young dude, but I done been peak shit. Basically, this whole America, the whole society is ran out for secret societies. You know what I mean? Like basically, life is a movie. This shit is scripted out. We just playing these roles and shit, but the niggas with power, excuse my language, but the people with power, they doing their thing. We basically the main actors of this shit. And basically with the Illuminati and hip-hop, they only gonna promote the bullshit that they want us to see. And these people with these weak minds, they listen to this music and then they get influenced off, you know, trying to get all this money, you know, kick it with all these female sex and all this shit, because that's what they want us to do. They want us to be out here thinking that's the way of life. So they're not going to promote what's good because they want us to shape us into how they want the world to be. And these secret societies, they going to let you know a little bit, but don't nobody know the whole thing. Don't nobody know everything that's going on. So basically, they out here tricking us, and that's why I fucks with you, Corey, because you peep bullshit like this voting stuff. That shit don't count. That shit does not count. They select the president and they throw him out there, but they want you to think you had a part to do with that, when really you ain't got nothing to do with that. Life is bullshit. You just got to keep it good with God, you know, and go off your personal faith. You can't turn on TV no more because this shit on TV is scripted. They gonna put out what they want you to believe so they can fuck you in the end, and that's just how it goes.
They call the television the dummy box in a lot of countries.
Real talk. That's real talk.
I don't even own a television. My friends, people who come to visit me, they try to diss me. They're like, "Where's the TV?" I'm like, "It's not in here. I don't own one. I refuse to own one."
That's right.
Boom, there you go.
Keep the bullshit out
but
your
you know
head,
what?
Rebecca.
You know what,
Hey,
caller?
thanks for the call.
That's right.
Thanks for the call, caller.
I was just going to remind the caller that, look, I know he said that, you know, he appreciates this and everything's really deep. Look, that's why we have people like Rebecca. If you go to, and check her out, look at all her stuff. She's got, like you said, how many on YouTube,
I have
Rebecca?
almost 75 videos, and I have one called Why I Do Not Own a Television. And it's 30 minutes of me letting people know why they shouldn't own one either. Because while you're home,
right, so you have a video.
Well, when she says videos,
I make videos
it's basically her speaking, so they're almost like
that I have a problem with.
The videos are better for the younger generation
they can hear,
because the younger generation does not have, in my opinion, the same patience as the younger generation before them, and so on. Videos are better for them to watch. So Rebecca, the more videos you can send,
she's dropping it, yeah.
It's even better, but that's good. Why I don't own a TV? I think I haven't even seen it, and I like it already.
Okay, but look, we're gonna have to take another break, Rebecca, and we're gonna come right back if that's okay. You good?
Yes. Now, can we talk off air, D? Because I just think there's something with you off air.
We are. Okay, so we're going to be right back, callers.
At me, huh?
We're going to, you know what? He's so silly.
That's what I'm trying
Okay, callers, we'll be right back. Shout out to all the truckers. Shout out to all the truckers. We got a lot of truckers calling in. Thanks, you guys. We'll be right back. Hold on.
Don't. Here's what I want you all to do for me. Bang.
There we go. We back on, boys. There we go.
We back on. Mm-hmm. We talking about pussy ass in the rock. Hey. We are back to 5150. We got Zoe, the voice of reason, on the panel.
What up, man?
We got Rebecca on the line, dropping the knowledge. We got Darlene just sitting here. And we got Bobby with some Chinese food and an attitude. Cause he ain't had no facts. Anyway, I'm fucking with him.
Can I give a shout out?
Sure.
Okay, I noticed during the break you were playing Public Enemy. I want to shout out my partner in crime, Professor Griff. Griff, how are you? I hope you're listening in. I sent him an email, and we did a show this summer in Harlem together. He's also got a book out that exposed the Illuminati in hip-hop as well.
Analytics.
And he's my partner in crime, and so I know earlier somebody asked how they could get more info. Any video that Griff has on YouTube, you should definitely check out. He's one of the people that also is an authority on this topic as well. And so I just wanted to show him some love. That's my brother, my friend.
That's right, Professor
my partner.
Trill.
That's right.
Did he ever actually do a verse in a Public Enemy song?
Never, no.
Never? Oh. I was just wondering, because I know I seen him a lot.
Wait, Rebecca's saying something.
He
actually has done his own records, but not to my recollection has he done anything on PE. But he has his own band that he's touring with now. He still tours with PE, and he has records of his own out.
Oh, that's great.
There you go.
Yeah.
But look, we're going to take another call.
Russell tried to diss him during the time when him and Chuck had a problem. Russell called him.
You talking about Fruit Booty Russell?
Yes, exactly. Another Illuminati. Yeah, and that whack rush card that with all those hidden fees. That's another.
Right, act like he helping the brothers out and he helping rob their ass with his little bullshit ass credit card.
Yes.
Yep.
Get the rush card so I can rush the money out your pocket.
Exactly. That's exactly what it does.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I read that shit. My little brother was going to get one of them. I was like, do you know what the fuck that is? That's last resort shit right there, the rush card.
So what were we talking about in terms of Freemasonry? That's when I walked in.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. Do we want to?
Zoe walked in right as we were talking about Masons, and I asked Rebecca about Black Masons because I don't want to diss them because they really have conviction and belief in what they do. But I just never could understand, if you know the history of Masonry, how can you claim that?
Right.
Albert Pike was also the founder of the Ku Klux Klan, and he was the founder of Masonry in the U.S. And in 1889,
he wasn't
let me just get
we have another person right here on the panel, Rebecca.
That's Zoe, the voice of reason.
His name's Zoe, and he was just saying something to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, he wasn't the founder of Masonry in the United States. Not at all. I mean, George Washington was a Mason, and he predates
You're
Albert
saying
Pike.
Albert Pike
was
wasn't
just,
the founder?
He was. No, he wasn't. He was just. He was in charge of a
He was
jurisdiction.
the co-founder of. Okay, excuse me. Let me correct it. He was the head of the Illuminati in the United States and the co-founder of the Ku Klux Klan, and he was the founder. Yeah. Read his book.
You were correct on him being the founder of the Ku Klux Klan, and in the Ku Klux Klan's manual, which is called the Koran, it has a section in there to dissuade black people from voting. And that was the original reason why they created the Ku Klux Klan, because they wanted terrorists to prevent black people who were newly emancipated from voting.
This says called a Koran?
It's called the Koran.
Koran.
Yes. And this is what a lot
Did it clean your clothes?
You know what?
I had to sneak it in.
You know what?
I tried not to sneak it in, the Koran.
Right. And when you talk about Black Masons, you have to remember, and she's right about Albert Pike's formation of the Blue House for the Prince Hall Masons, for Black Masons. Because the original creation of Masonry, it was created by black folk to civilize white folk. Now, if you go back to the Crusades, because first off, she made one minor mistake. Masons and Shriners are not the same thing.
They're not?
No. Shriners...
What's a Shriner?
A Shriner is someone who has passed the 3rd degree of Masonry. In Masonic orders, there's only 3 degrees.
Okay, I didn't say they were the thing, but they are an offshoot of Masonry. So in order for a person to become a Shriner, not only do they have to go through all the degrees of Masonry, which makes them connected, and take all of those oaths, but they also... I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. The Shriner has to go through the rites of Masonry in order to get to that level, to become a Shriner. They have to take all of the degrees, the oaths of all the degrees. So the Shriner is actually, if you break it down, it's the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine, and I mentioned that in my book. And it's an appending body since 1870 to the Freemasons. So it may not. It's not the same thing. I never said it was the same thing, but
like I said, this is not.
What is the difference between the Masons and the Vice Lords? That's what I want to know.
Hysterical.
And no, I'm serious, because they all started with the same intentions. A lot of people don't know the history of the Vice Lords. But. I'm just saying, somebody who may know, which I think Rebecca may know. What's the difference between Masons and Vice Lords?
Okay. I want to say that in my books, I stick to the things that I do know. And since my books were mainly about the Illuminati infiltration into hip-hop, I didn't go deep into all of the secret society, so I didn't cover Vice Lords. I only covered things that I personally witnessed, people who were in secret societies that I knew of who were
I'm
also
interested in that.
hip-hop.
I want to know that. Really?
Yeah, you got to.
Really?
So
Rebecca,
that's what I
enlighten
stick
me.
to.
I want to know that.
Oh, you got to go online. Yeah, because we only have so much. How much time?
Yeah,
we got?
we don't
we
have
wanna get a lot
enough
of
time
it.
to break down.
Oh, you gotta see her.
She has places where you can visit the information that she has gathered.
Really? I have 8 books now. I have 8 books that cover in detail things that I've actually researched since I wrote Hip Hop Illuminati. Hip Hop Illuminati was my first book. After that, I realized that people were so interested in the secret societies as well as hip hop that I wrote other books. I have a book called The New World Order, which actually details what the plan is, what they actually plan to do in terms of us. And in getting
love to have her on my show, for real.
agenda. In my book, Real Hip Hop Gangsters, I talk about how the whole game was changed over to everyone now being a gangster when it happened, how it happened, who was the first rapper to actually do a gangster rap, and it wasn't NWA. It was actually oh goodness, Spoonie G. I think it was. He was a rapper out of Philly, and he did a rap.
Was it Schoolie D? Was it Schoolie D?
PSK, which was the Parkside Killers, which was a gang, and that was the first gangster rap. And he played it over the phone. Actually, Darlene, I think he played it for Ice-T.
Hip-hop legend.
And Ice-T brought him out to Cali.
That's right. Yeah, no, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was actually the first gangster rap. And then you had these labels, Ruthless and all these other labels, who jumped on the bandwagon, and they turned the whole round into now everybody's a gangster. And that's where they made gangster rap popular. But it was actually...
But that's that book. You've got several more. I mean, she's got so many more. It's just...
good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like if you want to check out information that she has, you go to... Where's the site again?
What's the site? Where should they go, Rebecca?
http:// Hip Hop Illuminati, one word, .blogspot.com. And you can find me on Twitter at real_Holly_hood and on Facebook. But if you go to my blog, all my links how to find me are there. I also am working on a book called The End Time Prophecies, which shows the connection to what things are happening right now in the world. The Thug Bible is my life story of how I went from the street to hip-hop. And the manipulation of America actually breaks down how advertisers and all other things, including television and things, are used to manipulate us, the people, and how all these things are set up, and how even what you choose to wear and eat is part of what you've been manipulated into and design.
Is the debate manipulating the people?
Pardon me?
Is the debate manipulating the people?
You mean the political debate?
Yeah, the presidential debate, the bullshit that's on TV right now.
Well, all of those things that are on there, they're part of the propaganda machine. So when you
some people don't know what propaganda is. Propaganda is that
what the
bullshit.
caller said earlier, the BS that we are fed.
Right.
It is the BS
I'm just trying to help some people understand what's going on. Because, like, when you say words like propaganda, they call in mad, and they not going to say, I don't understand. They just going to say, man, this is bullshit. Yeah, no, that's what propaganda is. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Also, Facebook, which I call Facebook, a lot of people don't even realize that that's just another propaganda machine that was created in order to garner public opinion and to sway people one way or the other. That's why you have trolls, who are people who hide behind fake names and fake profiles, and they spew out some type of nonsense to start a controversy online just to get that public feedback. And this is how they know what to put in the store to sell you. They know what you're wearing, what you're eating, what your kids are playing with. You know, it's so
I have to give you
hip-hop.
Let me give you an example of
That's
that.
good stuff.
We got a caller that's about to come on in a minute. Rico, he's going to come on in a minute. But I got to tell people this, and I want you to hear this, Rebecca. On YouTube, there's a video of a girl getting punched on the bus. So
Getting
I
what?
found.
You know that she's got it. You got something on your profile talking about that story.
The girl
too,
who
Rebecca.
got the girl in Cleveland who got uppercut by the bus driver. I found her Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I found her Twitter.
What is the Twitter handle?
I'm not going to even say it because I'm going to tell you what happened to me when I went on her Twitter.
What happened?
Because I wanted to reach to her to see if she would be willing to come on the show.
Oh, okay.
And I swear to God, when I went on there and asked her to come on the 5150 show, my Twitter started bullshitting. Something was wrong with my Twitter all of a sudden. But it still let me put out a couple of messages like I was like joking, like, I'm trying to get old girl to come out here. I was going to let her come on the show and give her some soup. You know what I mean? Like, and all of a sudden when I cracked like 2 jokes on her, you know what I'm saying? Like, and my Twitter was down for a day and a half.
Oh, really?
I don't think that's a coincidence.
What do you think, Rebecca, about that?
It's not, and don't be surprised. I mean, even our you notice how we keep going in and out in our conversation. Everything is controlled. Even your telephone. When I tell people that ever since that HD retirement in Russia, do you know TV looks at you? So I honestly believe
didn't I say that on the air?
Yeah.
I've never met Rebecca.
She's got a whole video on that too. Look.
I don't even have this information she has. But when that man came to my house talking about they got to switch everything from whatever to digital, I was like, them motherfuckers is looking at us through the TV.
That's when I gave up TV. That's when my TV was sitting on the curb.
See? I want to hear from callers. Do they believe this?
Well, we got this one guy on. He's a Mason, and
he's actually a Mason.
He has something to say.
Bobby's quiet too.
Okay. His name is Rico. Go ahead, Rico. You're on.
Yeah. 5150, what it do? Hey, Zoe, man, much respect, bro, to you, brothers. Much respect, man. I mean, you have vast knowledge of a lot of things, especially with Masonry. Rebecca, I have a lot of respect for what you know as well, but you couldn't be more wrong. You couldn't be more wrong about Masonry, especially about Albert Pike. Yeah, every black Mason knows who Albert Pike was. Albert Pike was, he did start the Ku Klux Klan. And he was, he was actually found guilty and exonerated by our president for a lot of a lot of stuff that he did in this country. But Albert Pike did not found Masonry in this country. Masonry was a gift to us from the Most High in Africa. In Africa, it was.
When people tell me stuff, I listen. And so that's why I'm saying I'm learning not just from Rebecca, I'm learning from Zoe, and I'm learning from the brother that's on the phone. I gather information.
The brother Rico is right, because if you do the research, especially a Masonry in America, before it goes back to Adam Weishaupt of Columbia, who, the Illuminati, that's an off branch. They'll say it goes back to the Mother Lodge in England. But it goes back even further than that, too, because if you take it further back, now you're going into Middle Europe, and now you're starting to get into what they were calling the Knights Templar, which was information,
can I
that was passed on from black people.
Because,
hold on, what did you say, Rebecca?
I'm in the Black House. I am a Knight Templar.
Can I just say something to the Mason brother? Because you obviously did not read my book. In my book, I break down the history of Masonry, and I actually talk about how, according to many, because I interviewed some Masonic scholars, and I was told that the Freemasons trace their roots to the building of King Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. And I mentioned that in the book. And it's described in the Book of Kings to a certain degree. Okay, in the story, the builders of the temple were original stone masons, which is where the term Freemason came from. The other thing is that I clearly said I am not talking about all Masons, because the higher up Masons do things in secret, even their brothers are not aware of.
Okay, listen to this right here. Where geographically? Okay. Since you want to speak of, Hiram Abimelech and King Solomon's Temple, okay, where geographically was King Solomon's Temple built? Can you answer that for me?
Okay.
It was built according to the Bible in Jerusalem in 967 BC.
Where is Jerusalem? Where is Jerusalem?
Okay,
Geographically.
what is your point? What is your point? Because I'm not on trial here.
I want to see
and my
what
book
you know.
is not about the history
I want
of
to see what you know, because
Freemasonry.
most of the literature, it seems as if, most literature that you can go online.
My work is not an attack on Freemasonry.
Well, hold on.
My work is not an attack on your belief.
But you're speaking on the craft, and I am a product of the craft. Okay, and the point that I'm trying to make is most of the literature that you have read on Masonry is anti-Masonic. So
and the literature I read was by Albert Pike, his book, Morals and Dogma.
Man, this Masonry is deeper than I thought. I didn't, I can admit I don't know a lot about Masonry.
Corey, can I ask the Mason brother a question real quick?
Go ahead.
This is Zoe asking you a question.
Real quick, Rico.
Go ahead, brother.
Are you listening, Rico? Would you disagree with this statement? Masonry, philosophically, the work in the craft for speculative Masons, right? Is
you
about,
have two kinds of Masons. You have two kinds. You have speculative and you have operative. And you are
right.
But people don't know what that means as you say this.
An operative Mason is someone who actually knows how to chisel out stone and build a building out of stone and place those stones.
Exactly.
Right.
They use
a speculative Mason is using right. A speculative Mason is someone who uses the symbology of Masonry to get a deeper meaning out of it. And I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, Rico, Masonry, the purpose of it was to make men, individual men, builders and architects of themselves, to perfect themselves. Is that not true?
Exactly. We are to look at ourselves as stone from the quarry, okay? And as a stone from the quarry, it has a lot of rough and jagged edges. You have to continue to chisel and work on to smooth and polish that stone. You have to continue daily. You can never make a perfect stone. Never.
And now let me say this.
Now listen, we got to go to break soon. So you guys got to be quick with your points. Real quick. Zoe?
The sister Rebecca is correct. There are evil Masons and evil people who have taken this information, which was originally created by black people, and given to Europeans to civilize them. And only certain lessons were given to Europeans, only 3 degrees out of the original 9.
Okay, that's deep. That's something a lot of people, because a lot of people don't know about Masonry.
What happened, Rebecca, real quick? Cause
that white people can get 3 1/3 degree, but blacks only get 3. That's also something that
in the
is
white
left
system.
out.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So
a lot of you guys.
My whole point with bringing in the Albert Pike thing is that I don't understand why anyone black would want to be a part of something that does not fully. But again, my book, the only reason I even mention Masonry, because that's a small part of my book. I mentioned at least 25 secret societies. Masonry is only one of them. And the only reason I mention it is in my connection to Jay-Z and his albums, where he actually oh goodness, I lost my thought. But he had
hold on.
No, don't worry about it. Listen, I want everybody to know, because of radio type of things that's going on, we have to take a break.
Yeah.
But this show, I'm going to have Rebecca, Zoe, and we're going to get the information of the brother who on the phone.
Rico.
We're going to videotape this. And we're going to let people see Zoe, Rebecca, and the other dude, Rico.
Yeah.
I believe all of you guys have the same information. You're just missing each other in certain aspects of whatever, but you can get together and get it together. Now, we got to get ready to take a break. We'll be back.
We'll be right back, Rebecca.
5150. Your mama, all that goofy shit now.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Hey, there we go.
What up, Black?
We're back, Corey. What's up? Put them headphones on. Okay, good.
Are we about to come back?
We are on right now, my friend.
Oh, what's up,
Put your headphones on.
Sorry about that, everybody.
I didn't know. Shit.
Goodness
Let me know. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, look, this show that we have done It's too much information for everybody to get a chance to say what they want to say. My loyalty is to the callers, and because I know they're calling. I don't ever want them to stop calling this show.
They never will, Corey. They love you.
I have to let a couple of callers say something, but when I let the callers on, just understand we got to wrap the show in about 10 minutes.
Everybody has to be very, very brief.
I just want you to be able to get your point out and say what you want to say.
Yeah.
So we got 2 callers that we're gonna try. Who we got? Light Child from Tennessee.
Home girl.
We hate to rush you. Please be brief though.
Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yo, calling from Knoxville, Tennessee. I've been doing a little research for a couple of years on this thing, you know, and I just found out that, you know what I mean, a lot of stuff is true, so I just been letting people know, you know what I mean, and so I just appreciate the sister coming on, and you know, just having the guts and the courage to do this and say this, because I'm seeing what's out there, and, you know, I've been even looking in the Bible, man, and some of the stuff there's in the Bible, if you just really know how to look at it, and, I mean, the evidence is there, it's all around us. And I really commend the sister of her doing what she's doing. I wonder if she heard, one of my questions is, I wonder if she's heard about this dude, John Todd, who worked in the industry back in like the 60s doing rock music.
I do, thank you, first of all, and I do not know of that person, but I will tell you one thing I do know about. You mentioned how the Bible talks about the Illuminati, and one of my videos says is a whole 30-minute video on what the Bible says about the Illuminati. So the Bible has quite a bit of scriptures that spoke of these things to come, the secret societies, and how the world would be manipulated by people who did not have the best interests of the people in mind.
That was, we got another question from another caller.
Thank you for that caller.
Yeah, thanks for the caller. Oh, who? Jacob in California.
Yep, go ahead, Jacob.
Ask your question, brother.
We got to make it quick.
The world would be manipulated by.
He's got his radio up too loud.
That's the best interests of the people in mind.
Hey, turn your radio down. Hello?
Nope. We lost Jacob.
We're gonna try to get one more caller.
One more. We're gonna squeeze it in.
Chris in New York, ask your question. We're sorry to rush you, but you got to ask your question.
Can I ask a question?
Go.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
We about to get on soon. Hello?
Right. You on right now?
You on right now? Ask your question, make your comment, Chris. We hate to rush you, but.
Rebecca Scott. Hello?
Yeah, I mean.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Go. Yeah, we can hear you. Speak.
We heard your question. He asked, can you hear me?
All right,
Is this with that Illuminati?
No, he's on. He's still on. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
33 degree. I mean, how? No. It's not a 30. It's not a 33 degree. It's the Masons. It's 33 and the third degree and the Masons. And I'm trying to teach my brother about the Moorish American. Do y'all know what Moors are?
Yes.
Moors?
Yes.
Yeah, the Moors. Y'all know the Moors are the ones that taught Masons. With the, you know, they gave Masons
from
knowledge.
Africa.
And that's what I'm trying to tell my brother. He's telling me everything I was talking about really has nothing to do with what I'm trying to
arguing with each other.
No, it happens sometimes.
It happens sometimes.
We gotta get ready to wrap it because we gotta get out of here. We at the J Spot and they got business to handle after we get up out of here.
It was two dudes on the
how much time do we have?
That was confusing. Right now it's
this show, next time we do this show, because we're going to do this show again and we're going to make sure it's mapped out in a way where the questions can be asked by the callers. Right. Everybody will know when to come in because everybody wants to say something.
And I'm sorry for being here late, man. I got here late. I'm sorry.
Shit, I was late.
Oh, okay.
And they also come here live if they live in LA.
Yeah, and if you're in Los Angeles, we're at the J Spot. Look, the place is sweet. They got good food.
Yes.
They got alcohol for all the people who deal with life, and and there's a crowd of
Rebecca?
All the ladies that are out there with nothing to do. There's a lot of distinguished gentlemen here.
Hey, Corey, you do your show here. I do my show here too. Yours is Tuesday. Mine is Thursday. Both live. You can come down if you're in the LA area.
Right. So you do your show Thursday, 6 to 8?
6 to 8, man.
I'm going to try to pop by just to come by and talk shit.
To be real, if you in town,
I'll be in town this Thursday.
we can extend this conversation
There
Thursday.
you go.
Really?
For real.
Is Rebecca on?
Rebecca's still there. What, Rebecca?
If
Oh
you
yeah,
would like,
I'm here. I'm listening.
we can start it again Thursday. We can pick it up part 2 Thursday.
On Zoe's show. Now, Zoe's show you have to check out too, Rebecca. Zoe's amazing. His show, he's the voice of reason. So
he sounds amazing, and he definitely is the voice of reason.
No,
so we're going to hook that up. Rebecca, where are you? Are you in Los Angeles?
No, I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, you're in Brooklyn.
New
That's
York.
what's up.
No, but definitely, if you guys serious, we could do it this Thursday.
Yeah, we'll set
Day
something
after
up.
tomorrow.
So all the listeners, this continues with Zoe's Voice of Reason show.
Voice of Reason. You could do me. I love it.
And we have time for her to plug all her stuff real quick.
Yeah, we got to be fast though because
available.
The who?
It was a joke. I said,
Did you say you're available?
I said I'll see if my pilot is available.
Oh.
Fly me there. It was one of my.
I ain't getting no play with you. I know they're going to shoot that motherfucker down. They was like, we got Corey Holcomb and Rebecca on the same plane together? The people must be sacrificed. You got to get them motherfuckers.
That's good.
For those of our listeners in the audience in the greater Los Angeles area, the J Spot Comedy Club is located at 5581 West Manchester Avenue, Los Angeles, California.
We got it. There it is.
I don't know if you let me tell you something about this California. If you've never been to the J Spot, you need to come check this place out.
It's really
J.
fly.
Anthony Brown has hooked up his little comedy club. When I say little, matter of fact, take little comedy club out.
Yeah.
He's hooked up his comedy club, and this is a nice place to
It
come.
is.
Relax, unwind, and get out of the real world.
And if you really want to get out, you can zip out by the airport. We're right around the corner from the airport. But look, I really want to thank you, Rebecca, so much. I know you don't do this very often, so I really appreciate it.
Darlene, anything for you. Thank you.
That's what's happening. All right, so I want to let everybody know that the next 5150 show will be a gym just like this. I'm in town this week, so all of the skanks that are in town, I need you to find me.
See, and Rebecca gonna pray for you, she said, when we get off.
I need to drop you off somewhere when I'm through with you, all right?
Look up Rebecca Scott, everybody. Rebecca Scott. Thanks again.
That's what's up, 5150 show.
That's right. Shout out to all the truckers, boy. They really chime in.
All right.
Peace, everybody, and blessings.